Good day to everyone. Uh, Today we are going to talk about Mbook 3.0, a new release, and most importantly, how to digitalize your chemistry lab. With that, what we will be covering today will be an introduction, what, why, and for who the Mbook is developed. We will provide a high-level introduction and overview of the new free versions, which are or flavors, how we call them. And then, of course, we will jump into the demo. And anytime you wish, you can put questions and we will answer them in the end. And let's start with the takeaway message, which is Mbook worth my time? And the answer is try it and see it for yourself. It's really easy. So there's one way how to approach whether it's worth your time or not. And it's how much time you spend and how much time you can save. So let's take a look on a task you are repeating daily. And let's say it takes you 5 minutes a day. So a very brief and easy calculation is that if you have 261 working days and you would spend 5 minutes per task, it's already 3 working days per year. And if you know your gross wage, then you can calculate easily the cost, whether it's worth your time saved or not. Now, what can Mbook save the time for you? One of the most important things is that it can generate reports in a single click, including the reporting multiplets of the NMR, including the data which you have included. If you wish to reproduce any experiment done by you or your colleague a few years ago, it's once again 1 or 2 clicks to have it done. If you need to locate an experiment, you have very detailed ways how to filter experiments, how to search for them. You can search by the text string, by the structure, substructure, by the location. So it's really up to you how fast you can do it, but usually it doesn't take more than a few seconds. What is taking time, to be fair? So there's a learning curve, and we are doing Mbook as intuitive as possible. So learning basics of Mbook should not take you more than 30 to 60 minutes. Of course, what takes time is writing notes on the paper or on the computer. The difference is that you cannot full text search the paper one, and in case you spill a chemical on your paper notebook or your colleague leaves, then you have to decipher the text, whichever he was doing and doing the notes. So that's one of the bottlenecks. And of course, what takes time is processing and sorting data, which can be ease up by using MNOVA. And we are also working on closing this loop so you actually don't have to sort the data anymore. Another way how to think about if it's worth your time and resources is about the resources. And the resources are that when running on a cloud solution, you have no upkeep of the server, no backups you have to take care of, and no updates you have to do. But other way how to think about resources is when you are repeating experiment because you could not reproduce your colleague's previous work because you couldn't find the original data. You just find I don't know, PDF printout or photo of the NMR data. So you really then spend, let's say, 1 day to repeat the experiment, and it's already making this table completely off because you are spending much more time. Now, what is Mbook? For those who are joining for the first time, it's an electronic laboratory notebook which is chemistry oriented, and it's created by chemists for chemists. Why? Mainly to save time you spend on searching, locating the source data, or reading the paper notes somewhere or another paper down in the drawer. Why? Second time, because you can work with the raw or process analytical data from various spectroscopies. So if you have a raw NMR data and LCMS data and GCMS data, you can all save them to Mbook and they are not modified. And sorry, they are processed, but at the same time you are keeping the raw data. So if you upload the raw data in zip file, then they will be processed automatically, but you will keep the source data as well. And third why is to be able to cooperate and share your knowledge, because the science is not possible, is not doable by one, so you need to cooperate, you need to exchange the knowledge and share the knowledge. And this is the way how you can share the knowledge within your group. So for whom is the Mbook? For anyone, basically anyone who does synthetic chemistry and analytical chemistry. Also for anyone who struggles with passing on the know-how, so let's say an academic laboratory, when the postdoc leaves and and takes the know-how with himself because no one can reproduce the work or cannot find the correct records. So that's one reason, or one target audience. Another one is reproducibility and traceability of who did what and when, or how many tries, how many experiments were tried to do some let's say modification of the structure. And for whom, for the third time, is for anyone who wants to keep the original data. That's a rather easy one. Keeping the raw data readable, that's what MNOVA does, but also to be able to find them, which is what Mbook does. So you can always search the data by the identifiers, by the user, by the date acquired. And it really doesn't matter if you have already existing ELN or you have none. The data can be migrated, for example, from Perkin Elmer, and just drop us a message that you would like to know more and you would like to see if it's possible. With that, how is Mbook different from other electronic laboratory notebooks? It's chemistry centered. So it has a molecular sketcher embedded. It does the stoichiometric calculation. It has a powerful search engine. The regulatory information and safety information are available there. And there's integrated chemical compound database for prepared compounds as well as for the storage. So we are really trying to prepare for you everything you need to use, you need for your workflow in a synthetic chemistry laboratory. And it's up to you which features you will use and which you will not use. How it's done? It's web-based, so it really doesn't matter what operation system you are running, or you can actually use tablet in the laboratory itself. It's a cloud-hosted solution on Amazon Web Server, but you have option to have it in-house. Then you are, of course, taking care of the server and the upkeep. In case of cloud solution, there are no local installation required. The maintenance and updates are done automatically. And the architecture, as I will demonstrate, is really flexible, so you can use it the way you need for your workflow. And also you can take your chemistry everywhere, which means that you are not fixed to the connection in your lab, but you can do it really, I don't know, on the conference, for example, when it will be allowed once again. How it's organized? There's a strict hierarchy from top to bottom, so you can configure the permission accordingly. You have well-defined sections, so you can sort and move the projects and as well the groups of the users. And since collaboration is important, so you have an in-app messaging system, so you can, let's say, ask for your supervisor for approval of the reaction or witnessing your colleague if you are working in the regulated environment. And you can also have a guest account and allow, I don't know, for example, external company which is supervising your experiment, your procedure. So you can let them to view at that part of project which you want them to inspect, and they can see all the procedures which were done, which is pretty useful for contract research organization, for example. And once again, you can filter everything you have there. And last step, where we are moving on right now, is integration with analytical labs. So not only to have the full chemistry environment, but also be able to request analysis, to have the analysis done by analytical department in your institution, or actually it can be outside of your institution, and have the results pushed back by the automatically pushed back when the result is done, together with the result and together with the original data set, which is very useful for a global solution when you are sending samples somewhere else and you would like to receive the data in a safe way. So let's say for QC labs. And the point is to close the loop from the synthesis to analysis, and once again back to synthetic chemist. With that, we will move to a demo part. And what we will cover is from the login, creating users, starting the experiment, filling the stoichiometric table, and reporting the experiment. And then we will continue from a colleague's work, searching for previous data, using inventories, bottle, asking for analysis. So let's start with the first login. It's already existing user, which is in the status of group manager. And this is the interface of Mbook. So you have here most important ribbon here, which is desk, team, search, inventory with a compound database, messages, and analytical section, and notification for new messages. The desk part contains from the overview of the existing projects and each of the reaction there present. And to manage a team and create a team, let's start with a team, which is for this occasion a webinar group, and let's create a user. Okay, let's just erase the bullet. And I will copy some password. So you don't know what you can log in during the webinar. And let's say that it will be a project manager, which will be fitting in the group of this webinar. So let's say it will be what is another things you need to set up for setting up the user is to have some abbreviation or user prefix of your choosing, which will then continuously create a numbering system for each experiment you create. And here you can set up, and of course, anytime later, change the settings so you can allow the user to request analysis and also to manage structures, inventory, or witness the experiments. And let's log in as a new user. So the first thing you will see as a new user is the license terms and conditions, which you can always access later. And what's new here is that you have here a full help starting up tutorial to get started, and also link for the further resources. So anytime you need, you can open this pop-up option. To start, we need to create a project, which will be I don't know, webinar. You will put there some code, and let's start today. For the users, we will select the group of webinar, and we will select the webinar managers, and also all the guests we can add here. So everyone in this project will have access to the project. If I wish to create a sub-project, it's easy as this one. And in this case, I can decide that I will not invite all the users, but I will allow only a subset of the users to have access to it. So this is the way how you control the hierarchy. And I have failed to attach it as a sub-project, which is easy fix. Double click on it on the icon and select the parent project, and I can have a structure of the projects already done. Now, next step is that I will create a reaction. This is an optional level which you can use, or you will just create a list of reaction. Depends how much analytical you are and how much you want to have a control of the sorting. And with that, let's start adding experiments. This is experimental view, and it's currently empty. So on the left side, you have once again managing overview of everything you need. Here is the reaction table, stoichiometric table, and the text field. Because I'm pretty much lazy, I will import exported experiment from Mbook, which is very easy to do right now, and it will import all the information provided in that experiment. So this is interface for importing the experiment. So each compound, here I have option to assign or create a new compound. So each compound is once in the database, but if you wish, you can create a new, for reason you can create a new database record. With this, I will import the experiment, and it will be fully populated. So here I have the regions, and if I wish to edit them, I can do that right now or anytime later. If I want to have experiment conditions, like having a different temperature and different time, let's say 10 minutes, which doesn't make sense, it's too short, but anyway, you can have it, and anytime you wish, you can edit it. For the stoichiometric table, here we have a setup a limiting region, which is by default as a number of equivalent. If I wish to change any value, it will be done very easily. What is important to know how to save your time and resources is that this text can be actually generated almost by itself. And how it works is that you can create a link. So let's say that I will click a link to region 1. I will select part of the text, for example, but I don't have to, and I will link it to the region. And it will automatically calculate the information used here. If I change the values, it's at the same moment propagated. If I going to scale down the experiment, let's say to 20 milligrams, I can do that. I just need to confirm it. And all the information should be updated very easily. Now, let's have it for the 5 grams. And what else we can do here? So except of the standard formatting, which is available here, so let's say you can have it as a points, and you can insert special symbols. This is pretty much usual stuff. You can also insert image here or in this help part. So what is next here is, let's go over these options. So you can include a PDF about health and safety, and for the basic list of almost 3,000 compounds, you have it already here. If you click on it, you will download the PDF. You can upload further information about source, so you can consume and create bottle. So let's say that I have here this product. So I can create a bottle of this product. It will automatically know the read out the mass I have. I can have here any description, let's say barcode, internal code, whatever I have. And I can select to which stockroom I will add the compound. So in this case, I have here only one freezer called A. I can say also who asked for the compound, and I can save it. This way it will be in the database, and there will be a record about the purity and the quantity of the compound. And if anyone else or me uses the compound, then it will be consumed from here. Further, we can include monitoring and characterization, and the information here can be attached to the experiment itself or to a specific compound. And also you have here a field for additional. And what is new here is that you can request analysis for a whole reaction. So let's say for a reaction mixture or for each component. And you can do it this way, or you can also ask for the analysis here. So how does the analytical request look like? So let's say that I have some internal code I'm obliged to create. So let's say it will be code 001. If I have other information I wish to include, I can, depends on the standard. So once again, you have the freedom. It will automatically include the molecular structure of the compound, and it will ask for health and safety information for the analyst, and also how can you, let's say, dispose of the byproduct, or what to do later. And then you can ask for analysis, which is pretty easy. So let's ask for a measuring in the deuterated solvent, and let's also add additional measurement like these and these. And okay, and just this should be it, and it should be propagated to all the lines. If I wish to have a request for, let's say, MS and also elemental analysis, I can do that, hit save, and the request is on its way. In that moment, I can take a look at the request and its status, which is currently not assigned to anyone on the analytical department, and I can gradually follow the progress. And the moment there are documents on the right side, I can go for the associated document. Now, the tricky thing about showing Mbook is that everything is linked. So with this, I will go back to the original experiment, which is here, and I will show you additional new features or new functions you can do. So going for experiment, just to know that you can have here description and conclusion. So it was a success. Let's say 90%. You can edit the status in case you are in an environment which needs approval. You can ask for the approval and so on. Further, you can clone the experiment, which is a simple button. You can clone the whole stoichiometric table, and on this save, you will create a new clone of the experiment. You can, of course, do it also for experiment of your colleagues, which is the strength of the Mbook. In case you are going to, let's say, for vacation and someone else needs to finish the work, you can reassign the experiment to someone else, which can be also switched back. So no worries about that. And I promise that you can export data and you can create a report very easily. So let's create a report, and it will in a few seconds appear on this window. And oh, sorry, I clicked the exporting experiment, which is a bit different. Sorry for the confusion. So exporting the experiment allows you to export the experiment and import it fully back to MNOVA, and it's a text file with containing all the information here. For the reporting, generating a PDF, it's the second button, which now includes a logo, which you can change, includes the most important information, and in case there would be some other information included, other than this one, they will be displayed here. And also the history of actions performed is here. Now, let me check what else I would like to show you. So let's sign off and use the account which has a bit more work done here, then starting with the empty Mbook. And let's start with sorting the data and viewing the project, let's say filtering. So here in the blue, you see the projects. Every time you go over some step, you can see all the details about the reaction. You can also sort all of these tables by, let's say, the yield, and you can filter this view. This is very important because sometimes when you cannot see something, it might be that it's only not checked. So let's say if I don't want to see anything my colleague Fabrice does, it will disappear, and I think most of the reaction here will not be present. So I just change it back. And what I can do is also to sort the experiment by the status, or if it's relevant, so it's highlighted experiment. Now, going for a previous work of my colleague, I can reassign the experiment, but I can only do it if I'm owner of the experiment, which makes sense, so no one can steal my reaction. Going for characterization is a pretty important part because you can upload data in a raw format or in a process format. So you can preview the data you have here. You can open a detailed preview with which you can interact with it. So let's say you can zoom in and move around whatever you need. And there's also probably a carbon spectrum. This is not a real spectrum actually. This is just generated in MNOVA from the multiplet report in the publication. So that's very easy to actually have the real looking spectrum which you can compare with the real one. And also what is very useful is that you can generate a report for scientific publication and you can download the data. So in this case, you can already attach the reporting in the format needed, and you can generate the report directly ready for the publication. Now, the data supported are NMR, of course, but also LCMS, GCMS, and any other combination of liquid chromatography or ion chromatography. But currently, everything which can be processed in MNOVA which MNOVA is running in the background, so it can process data also from UV vis, infrared, Raman, and all the spectroscopies having the same data format, which is XY axis, basically. And also you can upload multiple pages, and if you click on it, you can download the data file. So let's take a look, because it's a full interactive data file. Just need to locate where the MNOVA is. Here it is. So here you can browse page by page and see peak by peak. And of course, if you wish, you can interact with the data and zoom in. So this is the biggest value of the MNOVA, that you are not losing the data. You have all the data fully interactive in the full format with the full information, including the metadata. Now, what else I could show you? Let me check the checklist. So, thing I promise you to do is also a bit more interaction with the searching engine. So, first improvement, which is here a bit hidden, is that you can navigate between the experiments in the folder. So you don't have to go back and forward. Also, going back and forward is now fully working, so you will have a really seamless experience from it. Each line in the stoichiometric table is now interactive, so you can click and get directly to the inventory and to the specific compound. Now, I will just copy this value. What you have here are the basic information about the compound. You can upload here a characterization for all the users using Mbook, so they have the standard of the compound. You can download the structure. You can edit the properties, and also you can generate, let's say, UPAC name if needed, directly for the publication once again. Also, what you can look here is to check if you have the compound on the stock and where is it located, and also the expiration date. Further health and safety information, how to handle the compound, and for the compounds which are already in our database, you have also the safety document. But you can create these the health and safety officer can edit this information. Further, you have the list of all the projects in which the compound was used. And once again, one click, and you go directly for that experiment. Now, let's go back. Last thing which you can have here, and it's once again new, is the analytical request, which have been done. And you can click on the request and see the status of the request. So in this case, this one is completed, and I can see what was done, what are the data, and what are the sample references. So in this case, the result is 1, 2, 3. With that, I will show you the other part, which is the search. And you can search by any keyword. So let's say you can search by the CAS number, which I have copied previously. You can search by the summary formula or part of it. So in this case, I will have only 12 results from the existing experiment. Now, you can see there are different projects and reactions, so I can, of course, sort the table by these parameters. And later, I can also filter it by the projects, which I have access to. So if I'm only a bench chemist, I might not have access to every experiment done in our group, by the users, and of course, by the status of the experiment and starting or ending date of the experiment. Further, you can perform a graphical search. For that, I can search for the structure from the list. So I have no idea what I'm picking up. So it's quite likely that I will not find the experiment, but it's just showing the molecular editor and what's possible with it. I can also copy the structure from the ChemDraw using, in this case, Ctrl-D to parse the correct information. And hitting Ctrl-V, I will have the result. Now, I can search for the structure or the substructure. I will have here 2 results, so let's select this one, and I want to have it as a product. This, I can do the search and I have no results done, which I must have done some mistake, but whatever. Yeah, there was a keyword already active, so it was filtering. Now, if I find this experiment and I want to clone it, I can do it. I can assign it to a project which I have access to. So I can, let's say, assign it to this project and this step. I can clone the stoichiometric table, and I can also create now a link to original experiment. So I have the concept, so I can navigate and I can see what's the previous experiment. And once again, I have a full link to it. Now, what I have not shown you is how to consume a source, but it would be pretty much the same. I just don't know which bottle I have right now already. So let's take a look for something with a bottle. And I think this compound should have the bottle. Okay, I'm not sure, so I will not waste time on it. Additional new feature, because I think I'm running out of time slowly, is a possibility to export data. So if I double click on a group, I will have here an option to export project. So I can select how much information I want to export, and now I will be notified in a few minutes or maybe in a few seconds, I'm not sure about the size, that the data are available for the download. Let me just show you how it looks like. So the moment I export the data, it's a zip file which contains all the information necessary to search and reproduce everything which was done. And it's keeping the original hierarchy, original structure. So you can see here all the experiments done. And in case there's attachment, it will be here in the same way. And there's a SDF file which is describing all the experiments done, and everything can be read from these files. So let's take a look, let's say for the group, and in the group option you will see the history of the project and also all the users who are there available. Now, yeah, and now we have exported data ready. So anytime you wish to have a backup of your data, you can do that, and it's that simple for a project or sub-project. What I have not gone through is a compound DB, but the search of in the search and in the inventory is pretty much the same. So you can search, let's say, for a compound like palladium, and if you write only a part of it, you can search also for the subset of everything which contains it. Also, you can add an additional filter if it's available on the stock, which I believe we have no palladium in the database already added. Further, you can manage the stockroom if you are allowed to, and in this case, you can see all the stockroom created. So here we have a different sides of the company, and clicking on it, we can see what are the available chemicals in the stock, what is the location, and of course the health and safety of each storage space. So let's take a look where we have something, and when we click on it, we have the information of that bottle and all the history which was done with the bottle. So I'm just not sure which bottle was consumed, but it will be displayed here. Okay. With that, I think I have covered all the necessary things for the demo. And if I have missed something, so you can just ask for it right now in a few minutes, and I'm able to show the remaining part which I have skipped. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention and let you think the takeaway message. Is Mbook worth your time? Well, try it and see it for yourself. You can try it using clicking on the button here, and it's up to 10 users. And after the trial, you can either continue where you left off, or you can start completely new. So you can have it as a playground and really play with it. Thank you for your attention. Okay, so let's take a look. There's a question, can you undo text removal from the experiment description when you click clear option? As far as I know, no, you can't do it, and there's a warning about it. So, but I think someone already asked for it, and that's the reason why there's the warning, so you don't do it accidentally in one click. Another question, the React is output with the extension ELN executable in this software. I'm not really sure what it means. We don't have connected Reaxis itself, like the ChemDraw does, but maybe what will be bit answer is that you can choose the file and the source format, which fully supports the Reaxis standard and ChemAxon, because actually the molecule editor is derived from ChemAxon. So this is the list of all the supported formats, including the protein data bank for itself, for example. So I think we have here, I have tried insulin to import here, and it was displayed as a 2D, but it was fully imported. So that's the answer right now. That's a good one. In edit experiment, you have relevant experiment option. What is it good for? So if you take a look here, there's already plenty of experiments, and it can get even more overcrowded. And if you can see here, it's highlighted in the bold, so you can actually sort. If you have a one reaction optimization and you have 10 steps, 10 tries, then you can highlight the best one, which you and other colleagues can navigate. And actually, you can then display only relevant experiment, so you can really fast view only what is relevant for you and ignore everything else. Additional thing is to avoid overcrowding is that you can have the open projects, but you can also close them and have them as a close, so you can use it as a sorting way. It's fully optional. There's a bit technical question where to get the username and password for the ELN. So it's really as simple to go to our web page and start a trial. So if you read the rest of it, it's a non-binding trial for 45 days, and here you will be asked for only name and email, and you can select which flavor, which version you want to try, whether it's Chemistry, Pro, Analytic, or Enterprise, and you will receive the login credential over the email. Now, what's another one? Okay, I'm not sure. I will probably ask later the person for the explanation of the question. Okay, so another one is, how can I include molecules in my experiment? Can I draw in Mbook or can I import them? What about a full reaction scheme? So it seems that I have completely forgotten this part. So let's show it. When adding an experiment, you can import in several ways. Either you can add a participant. So let's say that we can start writing butyl iodine, bromine, and add a reactant like this. That's the one way. Or in case you have empty stoichiometric table, you can import a whole reaction scheme in the ChemDraw format. So you can either paste the text from here, or you can upload the file. The result is the same. So let's show the importing the reaction. In this case, you will have here a bit more options because there's more space for error. Let's say that if you move the things around the arrow far away, so it will be not clear if it's correctly assigned. So here you can actually modify the compound, search for substructure, do not create a participant. So let's say if you want to alter the reaction from previous experiment, it's as simple that you can just redraw it, for bromine, and save, and it will be modified. So if something is incorrectly read, you can alter it. And this way you will have created the reaction scheme, and now you just need to fill it, starting with the first limiting region. Another way which we are often asked is how to copy paste from ChemDraw. So the trick is Control D, and if I show it here, it's a bit hidden. So it's this CD XML text, and when you copy it this way, then you can paste it to the editor straight away. And I will just put it as a product. Another question, yeah, sorry, I'm already reading the question. Can I add my own compounds to a stockroom or inventory, or is it just the one you fill? So you can add your own compounds. So let's just find a suitable compound. So I need to have here some end result mass, and in this moment, okay, yeah, now I can do it. Sorry, just needed to create. So I can create a bottle, and I can put it in a specific storage room, or I can put it just to my fume hood, and I don't want anyone else to have access to it. So this is the way how you edit. And the other part of the question, the moment you create a new compound, which is not in the database, it will be created in the inventory for everyone in the laboratory. There's one difference when you don't want to do that. When you have a, let's say, a sensitive project which you are afraid of data leakage, so you can create a project. It will have compound access restriction, so any compound created in this project, directly in the project, will stay hidden there, and only users in that project will be able to access it and search it. For everyone else, it will be hidden. But it's an option, and we are trying to have it as open as possible inside of your group. Another question is the cost per year for entire lab, or is the cost for each user created in the group? So the cost is per user. Per user. So if the group is okay, yeah, now I see the question. So if the user is active in 2 or 3 teams, it really doesn't matter. I think you should have here example. It's still consuming only 1 license, so it's really by the login, and 1 login is for 1 person. So you can be a member of as many teams as you want, which is often the case in academia, I think. What about safety sheets information? Are there any inside of the Mbook? I believe so. So let's go for compound DB. And there's a list of roughly 3,000 compounds which are already included. And if we go for these compounds, they have these data sheets already included. For a newly created compound, you need to download or edit the properties. We cannot do it automatically because it's not because it's hard to predict which information are correct and which not. So that's why you have here an option to assign 1 user or more users as a health and safety officer. I'm just not sure if I can do it from this level. Yes, I can do it from this level as a group manager. I can assign another user as a safety manager. And the safety manager can edit the information about the safety. Let me just check if I can find other question which I have not answered. I think these are all, and if I have skipped any question, I will get back later to you over the email. With that, I thank you for your attention and have a nice day or evening wherever you are watching us. Thank you.